Thanks for popping in and spending some time with us. We are Ash and Pete. We are a husband and wife real estate team, and we explored North Jersey so you don't have to.
This week we took a tour of Verona. So come on and we're going to break down everything we did. So we're going to kick it off. So just so you know, Verona is located in Essex County. So some of the surrounding towns, just to kind of give you some perspective, are Montclair, Cedar Grove, and Caldwell. So that's kind of the areas that we're looking in right now. So our first stop though, because you got to start every day with coffee, at least we do. So tell us about Compound, what is it?
Compound Coffee Co.
Compound Coffee Co.
So I've been here before. I researched it a while back because I was going to Verona Yoga, and Verona Yoga was held in Compound Coffee Co. at a point. So what's cool about this place is they have a fitness studio within the coffee shop. So you have half of it that is group classes, the other half that's coffee shop, and then there's like a whole area that's like meeting space, tables, and the coffee was excellent. So I did my yoga class, I came out, I had a protein shake, and then I worked for a bit, had some coffee. So I was like, Pete's got to come back if we're going to Verona and we're going to do this. So, and I mean, what do you think of your coffee?
Yeah, so I mean, there's quite a few places to choose from in Verona. So I mean, ultimately, I guess just because this one was a little bit more of the unique one, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's off the beaten path. Like you have downtown Bloomfield. Right? Bloomfield Ave is like the main area in Verona. So there's some options there. But yeah, I thought this was a really cool one to go to just because it is such a unique kind of thing. We met Chris.
Yeah, one of the trainers.
Yeah, so he's one of the trainers, and he took us on he gave us a little showed us what the fitness studio looks like. It's not like a, drop-in gym where you go all the time, but they do fitness classes, and they're actually working on expanding right now, which if you're a business owner, is never an easy thing. But so it was like a really cool spot. I got just a plain black coffee. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I'm more of a dark roast guy, and yeah, I thought it was really good.
And I always test out a spot with their cappuccinos, and the cappuccino was good. So the milk is a little bit more almondy, like they definitely make it in-house, which is pretty cool. They're not like a go-get breakfast there. They have some pastries and stuff like that, but it's not like that. You're not going for like a full meal or anything like that. But it was a really cool spot. They no longer do yoga. It's really just a fitness studio. And something that Chris told us, which was interesting, was that Bobbi Brown, the cosmetic company, her husband owns that whole building, which is just something that I would have never known, which is just a cool thing.
Not the coffee and everything though, right? The building that they rent.
The building that they rent, not the actual business. But it was a really, it was a really
Verona
cool
nugget.
Yeah, it was a really cool way to start off our adventure in Verona.
Yeah, and now we're in January. We're at the end of January when we're filming this, so there's like snow everywhere. It's like one of the more brutal winters we've had in years. So the parking was a little rough, but I think that was more due to the snow. We actually did find a spot pretty easily. So, and they have a little like walk-up window that you can just like get from the outside. And so definitely a very unique place. But most importantly, the coffee was good. So it was a good start. It was definitely a good start.
And definitely a spot that we can bring, clients. We could have a meeting there. It'd be a cool spot for that. Or work from, a cafe day kind of thing. It's a cool spot.
Yeah, so our first stop in Verona was a good one. So from there, if you follow me on Instagram, I do Pizza Fridays. And so we had to find a spot in Verona that does pizza. And we ended up at Barino's Pizza, which is on Bloomfield Avenue, right? We were on Bloomfield Ave. So it was good. I always go and I get a plain slice. That's kind of how I'm kind of judging it, right? So the plain New York style slice was good. Check out the full review. But what they had was the Sicilian, which they called,
fan favorite?
The fan favorite, and I could see why. So it was sausage, peppers, and onions on a Sicilian slice, and it had sauce on the top. So it was really good. And, she asked, like, do you want the side or do you want a corner? Like, you always get the corner if you're getting Sicilian.
Yeah, right? Law is law. We just...
Law is law.
It is what it is,
100% corner slice. But it was really good. I thought it was like eating, it tasted the way like a Sunday dinner would smell like when you walk into your grandparents' house or something like that. More so you being the Italian, but I like to dream. So, but definitely check them out. And it was cool too, because they were just like recently like a family run business, right?
Yes, we met the owner, and all of a sudden we hear from the back, he's like, hey, a fresh one just came out, because they saw what we were doing. They saw us like recording. And he was like, oh, a fresh one just came out. Do you want another slice? And I think that took all of your willpower to be like, no, I'm good.
Trying to be good. Calorie deficit life. But,
offering another slice of pizza.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, still a solid pie.
Yeah. They're the highest rated in Verona right now. So definitely check them out. They're on Bloomfield Ave in Verona. So
Yeah.
thanks for having us. Appreciated that.
Yeah.
All right. So next, what do we do next?
So we started to do some outdoor stuff since we were nice and warm and had eaten. We went to Kipps Castle, which even people from Verona didn't seem to know about. It's right on the border of Montclair. It was built in 1905. It was like, it took like 3 years to build. It was like 1902 to 1905. At the beginning of the 1900s, it was residential. It's a 9,000 square foot medieval style castle. It is so cool. And now it's owned by Essex County Parks. So now you can actually like, go in and, walk around there. They do a tour of the first floor. You can like do photography permits. It's a really cool thing. But what blew my mind, which is so exciting, if you know me, you know I love a cult. I'm so into cult, information. I want to know what they're about. I want to know everything
How's
about
that for a first episode?
I know.
If you want to know about me, I'm into cults.
So interested. So in the 80s, the cult of Rajneesh, they were the ones who did the Netflix special Wild Wild Country, which I don't know if anybody watched that, but we did, and it was awesome. So they started in New Jersey in the 80s in Kipps Castle.
It's crazy.
Craziest thing. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, this was just the whole thing that came out on Netflix, and this is actually where they started. So really interesting. I can't wait to go back in the spring, summer, and kind of walk the grounds a little bit because it's a great view of New York City. You get the skyline in the background. It was such a nice spot. So it would be really nice to, grab a coffee and, pop up there and walk around. So I'm glad we did make that stop.
Yeah, that was so funny because we were there and we're like, all right, we should look up like just some quick history on it or whatever. And that's when you saw, you're like, there was a cult here in like the 80s. And we're like, we wonder if it was that one from the Netflix special. And then
Confirmed.
It was
So
pretty
cool.
crazy. So check it out. It's a very interesting documentary on Netflix. But right here in Verona, some
Wild.
Verona cult lore for you. So
So from there, we actually drove through a couple neighborhoods on the way to our next stop just to kind of see what the vibe was, like how, it felt in Verona. The houses weren't on top of each other. I mean, it's still northern Essex County, but it's, the houses weren't as tight as some areas. They were really pretty and well maintained. I feel like they were pretty nice houses. I mean, what did you think?
yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. It depends what neighborhood you're in. And we did drive through one of like the most, the higher, I don't want to say higher end necessarily, but like one of the nicer neighborhoods in Verona. But yeah, it's so looking it up, like it's mostly colonials and it's a little bit of a hilly suburb, right? So that's like, it's right outside of Montclair and it's a little bit more hilly. So that's just something to keep in mind. But, and again, in the middle of January, it's like whenever you're house hunting or looking at neighborhoods, they're not in their prime. So if they can still be charming when there's like 1.5 feet of snow on the ground, I think that says a lot. So
absolutely.
And I mean, we've done some stuff in Verona before, so we know the area. But yeah, definitely, nice town as far as the houses are concerned. So definitely some nice neighborhoods.
And then from there, we went to Verona Park.
Yeah, Verona Park. So it's like, that's a very popular park here in North Jersey. And Essex County, they have a ton of really nice parks. But again, keep saying it was very cold, but so Verona is 54 acres, actually. So it's a 54.32 acre park. And they have a lake in the middle of it. And they have a boathouse that you can rent out, which is really cool.
And they had the paddle boats.
They had the paddle boats that you can use. So like, you could just tell, like, it's just a great place to be in the summer and springtime. So we're definitely looking forward to going back there. And I mean, it's huge. The one thing that was interesting is I had heard that it was designed by the same person who had designed Central Park in New York City. Not exactly, but there is some lineage. So Central Park was designed by Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux, V-A-U, Vaux.
Yeah.
So then he, I guess, created, or like the successor of his work was the Olmsted brothers, which is who did the Verona Park. So there's some influences there. And I think it's interesting because when you're walking through the park, you can see the street lamps and it definitely some of the bridges and stuff. So yeah, really big, beautiful park. I think it's a great perk to someone who lives in Verona or is nearby. You definitely have a lot of parks to choose from, but
it had a huge playground too. And
the tennis courts.
Which is not something that we planned to talk about, but there's also the community pool in Verona, which is like really large and pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Not something that was worth visiting this time of year, but it was definitely, it looks huge.
And that wasn't by the Verona Park though.
No, it was further up. Closer to Compound Coffee Co.
Yeah.
But it was just, just talking about perks in the town. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really cool when the town has like a pool for all of its residents.
Yeah, pools are great.
Very cool. Yeah. So yeah, and then from there, let's talk about the downtown, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So the downtown, you're not thinking Montclair, Ridgewood, big bustling downtowns, but it definitely has a good strip on Bloomfield Ave. So you got shops, which are a lot of locally owned. There's not a lot of chains that I saw, which is great. But you have like your normal stuff. You got nail salons, post offices, or the post office. You get, hair salons, all the normal stuff that you would see, and some really good restaurants. So highly rated, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we, so we decided to stop by the Collective bookstore. And so we always love, I love like a locally owned bookstore. I feel like that you don't really see them as much anymore. So we popped in there, and yeah, I mean, they had a good selection. For some, like I always kind of beeline to two sections. One of them is Star Wars, typically, if I could find that. And then the other is like personal and business development. So it was encouraging to see that a lot of those books were, a good amount of them were books I'd either heard of or like listened to or read, and I have on my own bookshelf. So that's always like a nice thing when it's some of the books you kind of feel like you relate to. And then we saw this book, the Creative Act, A Way of Being, which is Rick Rubin's book. Rick Rubin is a famous producer. He's a very creative person, and I think he's done Beastie Boys.
Countless.
Yeah, so many amazing artists.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to read this. And then as we were checking out, we talked to Carrie, and she was behind the register. And she said that was actually the owner's favorite book. So it's like, what are the chances? So,
which is cool because we both want to dig into that. So that was but we had to buy something, got to support. So,
well, that's the thing, right? I mean, it's like we're going around, and especially the local mom and pops, like those are the people we always try to support. And if you have something like that in your town, and you always mean to go there, whether it's coffee or a bookstore or we'll get to the vintage shop or something like that, you have to frequent these people. Like you can't just expect them to stick around. Like so anyway, get off my high horse here. But whenever we go, we like to not only shoot content, give them a shout out, right? Collective Bookstore, but also, shop there.
Yeah. And I think what's cool about this too is they're really involved in the community. So there's a couple things that they told us that they do. They are doing pop-up events, which are, they did it because they're in Verona. So they did Juliet's Castle, which was like romance novels and things like that. So they did like a pop-up of that. They've done Halloween pop-ups, Christmas pop-ups with Mrs. Claus. They do like story hour with the kids. It seems like they're really, creating community in this bookstore, which is really cool. So that, and when you were talking before about the independent bookstores, they are involved in the I think it's New Jersey Independent Bookstore Crawl, which we just learned about, which is super cool. You can find that on Instagram. It's the first weekend in June.
Yeah, June 5th through the 7th this year. So last year it was just one day, and they had such a good turnout that they actually turned it into a couple of days.
But what a cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to see, in a world that we're so like social media and like Amazon and all that stuff, to support like local businesses and like come together in a really cool way. And it's reading and books, which is like the best.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, just to point out, is that they had the kids section of the back, which is where they do like the reading corner and stuff like that. And there were two kids kind of running around, and moms there. And so it was just, and they were very inviting, right? When they were leaving, they said goodbye, they cleaned up. Like it was just, it felt like that community and that culture that you're looking for. So definitely really enjoyed the Collective Bookstore. If you're in Verona, even if you're just kind of checking it out as a town, you're thinking maybe it's a place you might want to move, pop in there, go check out a couple of books. Let them know the Kopec team sent you. The Kopec sent you.
Yeah. And then from there, we went to Vintage Alley, which is my pick on the stops. And it was a really cool vintage shop. Some of them, I feel like you walk through and you're like, wow, this place is tough to dig through. And this was a really beautifully curated store. Everything was in great shape. Everything was, you had designer, you had non-designer. I'm walking around, Pete's, you're talking to the person behind the counter, Colleen, who's the owner, and I'm having a field day in there myself. I bought this.
I was gonna say, show them what you got for anybody on video.
Beautiful leather bag.
For anyone who's just listening,
she is lovely.
See, a vintage red leather bag
gorgeous.
with gold buckles.
Yeah.
How did I do describing that?
That'll work. That'll work. She's a beauty, and she was a steal. So I'm thrilled about it. But it was a really great store. I would definitely love to go back, because that's the beauty of vintage stores. Every time you go in, they're gonna have different stuff. So I'm really like excited that we connected with them. And I mean, Talk about your
Yeah, so when we were just kind of chatting, and
Yeah.
you know, because we always like to try to know what, or learn a little bit about the owners and what brought them there. And so she was from Verona, then moved to Montclair, then moved back to Verona. And you know, as someone who's lived in that area, she kind of shed some light on how it feels like Verona has somewhat, you know, there's this effect, right? Montclair has always been, not maybe always been, but over the last couple of years has just been this, it's blow up, right? And it's where a lot of people want to be. So the towns on the outside of that are benefiting from that in, well, I guess that depends who you ask when you say benefiting, but they're growing and they're attracting more people to those areas. So that brings in, you know, more businesses, more art, more, you know, culture, different things. So we talked a little bit about that. And then actually what was interesting enough, which kind of plays into like who's moving into Verona, like what you can expect. So I kind of looked it up, and it turns out that the majority last year of people who moved to Verona, who bought homes in Verona, actually came from Montclair. I mean, there's always people who come from the city, so that we kind of already assume that, right? But Hudson County and New York City was a big part of it, but a good amount from Montclair, and then a good amount from Verona.
Interesting.
So
Like Verona to Verona?
So people who have lived in Verona and they're staying in Verona. So you definitely want to see a good number of that, because that just kind of goes to show that people who grow up there want to stay there, or you know, people want to continue to live in the town, and that usually speaks pretty highly of the town when you have people who still live there are still moving in. So it's about 10%. So, but yeah, really enjoyed the vintage shop. I enjoyed the conversation. Not really my jams on that, but I tried to look at some of the guys' stuff like I knew what I was looking at, but I was like, I don't.
That's okay. You'll get there as we continue to do this. Don't worry.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you can help, let me know. Help me find cool clothes at a good price, I guess. I don't know. But all right, cool. So then not last. I mean, so then we had to figure out, okay, well, where's the happy hour spot? Like, where are we going to before date night really kicks off, right? So we ended up at the Verona Inn, and we hit happy hour there. So
local spot. If you are from town, you definitely go there, which is awesome. Yeah. I mean, the vibe is great.
Yeah.
Like if we lived in Verona, we would go there regularly. Like that's definitely a really cool bar, very cozy, chatty bartenders in a good way, not too much. It was really great.
Yeah, I kind of expected it to be a little more divey. I got to be honest. I kind of just figured like an inn. I kind of expected to be a little bit more of that, but it was like, I feel like it's like it was a dive bar that was like then brought up into like just cleaned up really nicely. Yeah. Like, I don't know that it ever was, but that was just kind of the vibe. And I think when we talk about dive bars, like we love a good dive bar.
Oh, yeah.
But why do we love a good dive bar? Usually because it's comfortable. And it still had,
cozy.
And it had that feeling when we were there. The bartenders were great. We had a great conversation, which she said that she played softball. And anyway, so we just had some different conversations. But yeah, definitely a place we would go.
Yeah. And they had that whole like outdoor area in the back too, which would be really nice, like, you know, warmer weather. But yeah, it was a great spot. I heard the food's good. We didn't eat because we were going for dinner, but it was a great spot. I'm glad we popped in.
All right, so let's talk about date night.
Date night was awesome. So we went to Umai Sushi, which is an omakase place. They do regular sushi, regular, you know, a la carte food, but it's an omakase place. And it's surprising that there's omakase in a New Jersey suburb.
Well, so what's omakase? Because I didn't really know until...
Omakase translates to, I leave it up to you, which is really cool because then that shows that the chef will now bring you each course as they see fit. So it's usually small bites and many of them.
Of sushi.
Of sushi, yes. So, I mean, actually, I don't know if it's only sushi, but it's a Japanese, it's a traditional Japanese style. So for us in this situation, you typically see omakase spots in the city. This is really cool that this was in Verona in a suburb, and the quality was fantastic. So we were sitting, it was like around a bar area pretty much. So it was a chef's tasting table, and we got to watch him put everything together. We were talking to the owner. He sent us over an appetizer of sashimi. It was just so fresh. All the bites were perfectly balanced. It was such an awesome experience.
Yeah.
And it's BYO, which was amazing.
Yeah.
We just had such a great time. And the exciting part too, which we added on, so they do caviar bumps, which if you don't know what that is,
Well, we've been gunning for caviar
Yes.
for like,
Yes.
for a while. We've wanted to try caviar, but it's like one of those weird
Yeah.
things because it's like,
Yeah.
it's expensive. You don't really know what you're getting into if you don't know or you have somebody who knows. So
But we're not scared.
we're not scared and we just went for it.
Yeah. And what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. So they
Crazy.
take a little spoon of it, they put it
Yeah.
on your, the side of your hand there, and then you just shoot it off of
Yeah.
your hand. I wasn't sure what to expect. I thought it was going to be a little saltier, I guess,
Yeah.
but it was really creamy, buttery. Probably was
Yeah.
like a really good,
Like buttery, nutty kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was very good, and I'm glad we did it there.
Yeah. Worth it. Like
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
And the chef was chatty with us too. His Chef Alan, he was awesome. Like it was just really, I feel like all throughout Verona, one theme was that we really talked to everybody, and they were just all really nice people.
Yeah.
Like there was nobody who didn't have time for us. There was nobody who like wasn't trying to have a conversation. It was really great.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Everybody definitely, I mean, I guess it helps you walk in with a camera and you're a business owner. They're like, hey,
True.
what's this guy doing?
True.
But no, but it was all then turned into very, very good, positive conversations.
Yeah.
Definitely check out Chef Alan. I don't know. We saw some YouTube video that looks very interesting that we got to check out.
Yeah, his
That's
like bio video.
Yeah, it's like his
I can't wait to watch the whole thing. It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So that's what
Yeah.
we just didn't have a chance before we
Yeah.
got here, but it definitely looks like an interesting video. So, and then we did the 12-piece course, which I'm always like eating, and I'm like, okay, 12 pieces of sushi, like, is that really going to be enough? And like whatever, but it was good. I wouldn't say I left stuffed, but that's not really what you want. But I was absolutely satisfied, and I think this sounds so like weird to say, but I felt like every bite was like a journey.
Yeah.
It was like it started here, and then you get like a little hit of wasabi, and then like another flavor, like the toasted sesame would take over, and
Like
it was
the salt, and it was awesome. Everything was so well balanced.
yeah.
It was fantastic.
And so again, omakase says what is the phrase? I leave it up to you.
Yeah.
So there was a little sign on the chalkboard like menu that said everything is what is it?
Everything is perfectly seasoned.
Everything is perfectly seasoned.
Yeah.
So my advice to you, if you're going to this omakase place, or probably any omakase place, don't ask for extra soy sauce or something like that. They got you.
Yeah,
They
that's not
got
the
you.
place. You don't need it.
Which I think is right, because it would have like, you got it, which I think from having it kind of like made sense, because it was like, okay, this is all very intentionally put together, and that's how it's supposed to go. So,
and where we sat at the corner, we watched the whole thing be built. It was awesome.
yeah, the food.
Yeah, all of the food, every single piece was just perfectly curated, and I think the pace of the food was really cool too. We were there for like almost 2 hours, and it was like a very I don't know, it was a really lovely experience.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so we decided that's going to be a celebration dinner going forward.
Yeah, we did
That's
the
a cool
12
spot.
pieces. Next time, our next big milestone, we're getting the 18 pieces. I don't know, there was a Big Mac sushi roll or something on there. I'm like, what is a Big Mac? Because as a ex-McDonald's addict, occasionally relapse here and there, but anything McDonald's or like Big Mac, I'm totally into. So
yeah, it's a cool flavor profile to work into a piece of sushi. So yeah.
All right. Anything else that we covered from our day, or anything that we might want to jump in on? I mean, that pretty much is it.
I think I got a really good feel for Verona while we were there. It was a really fun day. Like I said, everybody was really friendly. I liked the homes there. I really liked Verona.
Yeah. Anything that you think someone should maybe know about Verona, that like going into it, that maybe they should, good, bad, indifferent, something maybe they wouldn't know?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think Bloomfield Avenue is tough. I think that's one thing just
Traffic?
to keep it. Yeah, just for me that, and it, so, we've been in this area for several years now, so we've gone down Bloomfield Avenue a lot. But like that, I remember when first driving it, it's like, what is it, 4 lanes, right? So it's like, it can be a little stressful at times, I think. So, but as I've driven it more, I've gotten more comfortable with it. So I would say that, and it's maybe nitpicking, but I'd say that's maybe something that it's like just a little bit something to keep in mind. It can be a little stressful driving up and down Bloomfield Avenue, just getting out of there.
Yeah, but there's a good flow of traffic. I think there's a lot of lights and stuff. There's a good flow.
Yeah, yeah. One thing we didn't mention was public transportation, right? So if you're looking to get into the city, there's no train in Verona, but you do have Montclair Station, and there's some park and rides that you can do, and it's not a very long drive from there either.
And there are buses, so.
The bus line, yeah. So check out NJ Transit, because that stuff's always changing. So last but not least, would you live in Verona?
I think I might.
Yeah.
I think I might. I really liked Verona. I think that's a great amount of downtown. I'm happy with it. I like Verona more than I thought I would, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. I mean, I have a ton of family there.
Yeah.
All my cousins live in Verona,
Mhm.
and they were not from Verona, but it's like once they got there, it seemed like I think
They
one
all
person
came.
went and then they
Yeah.
all went, and now they all love it, and they've
Yeah.
like kind of created this community around it. So I definitely think Verona should be. I would live in Verona for sure,
Yeah.
100%. I think the park alone
Yeah.
is probably something, but and all the restaurants and all the stuff. So it's a big thing where people get some walkability. You can go and park and still,
Yeah.
enjoy your night there. So I think that does it for us on Verona.
Yeah.
If you live in Verona or you used to live in Verona and we missed something, let us know. Like, what do you think and what was it like for you living in Verona? And so, yeah, if you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe and share this with somebody who might be looking to move to Verona. And if you're looking to make a move to Verona, reach out to us. Our contact info is in the comments, and we will see you next time.
See you later.